A deep voice, almost guttural, broke the silence of the room, which was plunged into complete darkness.
Is he?
Are you sure it's him? Remember, we can go wrong of individual.
Answered someone who spoke a mean whisper himself.
Fortunately, Harry Smith had a very light sleeper, and the first 2 words immediately put him on guard. However, he noticed something very strange. In other circumstances, would have jumped like a cat ready to defend himself. But now he could not make it. Something had prevented him.
His body was paralyzed, from the toes to the crown of his head.
On several occasions he tried to move, but no muscle of his body responded to the orders given of his thinking. He felt big lips, and his tongue was numb as if she were anesthetized.
Henry Smith Polanco was a mixture of American and Latino race because his father was born in Tucson and his mother in South America. His father was a tall, burly, blonde, and intensely blue eyes. She was elegant appearance, slender, brown eyes and brown skin, with long hair that hung about the ears.
Harry Smith inherited his father's height, age, color, and the strength of his muscles from her skin, but with a cinnamon tonality as well as irrepressible impetus for a lifestyle of overflowing advertence.
At 37, he had traveled almost every country in the world, where he was known in his field as a seasoned adventurer, able to accept the most dangerous missions. Expert in martial arts, in the use of the most sophisticated weapons, as well as in the conquest of beautiful women who became part of his amorous adventures without pain nor glory. His last great achievement was to stage the fields of Indochina, where he faced beatings and led it to the heroin traffickers.
For all this, more of the character wanted to see him resting peacefully with several holes in the body over 3 meters underground.
Is he?
Again he heard the guttural voice, but this time in a triumphant tone.
Undoubtedly, it's him. We must ensure that our target is met.
Shh,
Replied the other.
Don't you see that? He can't wake up.
Henry Smith was already more than awake, but helped as a fly caught in a spider's web.
To swim profusely and nevertheless be found totally covered by the blankets. His sweat was cold and clammy.
For the first time he heard the agitated beating of his heart and the pounding of his blood against the walls of your arteries. From what he was sure of was that he was not dreaming, and this event had nothing to do with any nightmare. He tried to say that it was not possible. He seemed to be subjected to a catatonic state.
Suddenly he remembered when, with his latest venture partners, had set fire to a load of opium. Perhaps this could be the result a bit late after inhaling that toxic smoke? Well, might take it as a chance. Maybe it could be a delayed effect. But impossible. It had been over a month that had been true for that experience.
Or maybe there was another change. They had sent the 2 men to murder at minutes earlier. When he was asleep, he was injected with a heavy dose of narcotic, or a single anesthetic at a high concentration, so we paralyzed his movements. Suddenly, This last hypothesis became the most feasible.
Henry Smith heard a few steps, slow footsteps approaching to his bed. And while these were advancing, and shuddering cold invaded his legs, so much that he felt his skin prickled in a very unusual way. This led him to wonder how it was possible that he experienced that sensation, if he was apparently anesthetized.
At the point, everything seems contradictory. Suddenly, he calls move his aids slowly, which were heavy, and his aids went suddenly, crushing his gaze again to the density of the dark.
Look that he is hearing us,
said the person with the guttural voice.
I am getting his feelings so much that I hear that beating of his heart.
so we must hurry. Remember, we can't go wrong of individual because then we will be the injured parties.
Already whispered.
In that seconds by Henry Smith's mind, many things happened. From what he could be sure of was that at the last exact moment on his chest would feel a violent blow. At the same time, a sharp knife through his heart would be from side to side, or maybe a single shot fired soft with a silent weapon, if they were more sanguinary, leave him full of holes to make sure he would not survive. This time, it seemed would I win the battle by submitting him previously to the impotence.
What more angered him was that they refused him that last fight. He was very confident that the day he died, he would be before against his enemy like a true gladiator.
He tried again to move, but his body was getting bigger and heavier. The steps were advancing, as also the cold that came to the chest, then covered his face until it ruffled the scalp.
He resigned himself to die like cowards die without removing the last breath, to allow them to know that there was still one last thing. He felt the anger run through his veins, waiting to burst. Meantime, he was attentive to that fatal shock.
If he knew what awaited him,
said the person with the guttural voice.
where everything has its time, and this is him.
Replier, the other as a compliment to be comment made.
Damn it, why don't you just make it fast and end once and for all with this stupid situation?
Though he thought that was in the limit of exasperation. Meanwhile, a large drop of sweat began to roll down his face. A cool sweat, slipping slowly, like little worms attached to the skin capriciously.
He had training with many victims when they were affecting the canon of the monk, other player, but it was not used to be prayerless, considering that good was merely the creation of the weak and ignorant minds, in addition to him that he had seen so many die violently. This was one marked way, created by man, for ending existence. It was a life and die, intense was laconic, as now it was his turn.
He felt his footsteps stopping right in front of his head.
They are going to shoot me in the head.
He trailed and prepared to wait for the impact.
They are very professional and are cold-blooded.
He ended mulling.
He stopped breathing for a few seconds, trying to tighten their jaws strongly. Second after, something exploded next to his feet, and a deadly silence invaded the atmosphere for a few seconds. We sang endless rosary, this of the same eternity.
Then the silence was broken by a few steps, some quick steps, who hardly left the room, listening at the same time that this door closed. Door squeaking sound, leaving swing the clang of the shooter like a pendulum light.
A strange smell became present, an odor difficult to identify, which is concentrated in the top of the bed, but that seemed the sum of the floor. We signed slowly to make it more up until almost get to the ceiling, where something almost imperceptible blurred to smell.
The atmosphere of that room became impressively tense, hard. Again, the silence became deep, too damaging and disruptive, causing so much distress, overwhelming distress, that could almost be said that bordered on the edge of complete bewilderment.